And I think we can now begin. All right, so I'm really excited for this project, and because this is Cameroonian themed, and I think it's the only project possibly maybe on the planet that is being done right now, called MBOA FLIX. And as you saw in the course program, the idea behind it is that we're trying to create something like Netflix, but instead of entertainment for the sake of entertainment, this would be a learning entertainment where people from around the world will learn about Cameroonian culture and just Cameroon in general, learn things from Cameroon. And so that's what we're trying to set up. You can go as creative as possible here. What my job is to just explain the basics of how you can create this app. And then you will just put your own creativity and your own intuition to what you're learning from these sessions to kind of finish it off with more things you may want to add. Now, you guys are seeing something on my screen, so I'm going to get started. We are going to be using Replit to design and develop MBOA FLIX. And what you see right now is I've already set up an app for us that will make it easier for you to just go and make a copy for yourself and just follow me in the development process. But I also want to show you how I actually set up this app. So in case if you don't know how to set up your app on Replit, you will now know how to do that. And when I say app, I mean like to set up your program. You're going to start coding from scratch. Now, if you want to access this, please go to your Google Classroom. This is something I want to walk you through as well. Here on Google Classroom, you will find lesson 1. Remember that this is screen recorded, okay? So everything I'm doing right now is recorded and you will access it easily so you can go back and play, and if you're missing any points, you can actually understand from the recording. So lesson 1, which is today's lesson, is right here. If you go to the classwork section, you will find there's already a Google Docs right now. If you click on it, it will open up and you will find this Replit join link, which you guys can actually just copy, just copy the join link, just click on it, copy the link, and open up your Replit account if you already have a Replit account. Replit is the #1 compiler in the world right now for basically allowing people to traditionally code and to vibe code as well. So I think Mr. Kila and Ms. Kumo may have talked to you, you guys about the birthday of Replit, which was on May 2nd, and they were kind of looking for, apps being developed that time, and the agent was free and all of that. So it does allow traditional coding, which is what you guys are going to do, coding from scratch, learning how to build a system from scratch and understanding how it actually works. And also it does automatic vibe coding, which is just prompting the AI and getting something done like an app. So if you guys copy that link, okay, just copy the link, but you have to be signed into your Replit account. This is one option. I'm going to talk about the second option. Then you just paste the link like this. This link, remember where I got it from. I'm getting it from here, this document. Where am I getting this document from? Well, if you go to Google Classroom, the classroom you're invited to, just go over to lesson 1 and click on lesson 1 and it will open this file for you and you get the link. That's all you need, the link. Now, once you open up the link, you will get this program. Please do not write anything in this program, okay? Don't write anything because this is just a template. What you will do is click at the top left right here. You will see something called the name MBOA FLIX App Development. Just click on Remix, and it basically means that you're trying to make a copy for yourself on your own Replit account. This is what you need to do, okay? So make a copy for yourself. And then once you click on Remix app, it basically will just make a copy for yourself like it's going to do right now for me. And you can see it's loading a copy. And now whenever you code, this would be your own copy. Because if you code on the link that I just gave you, that's for everybody. It's not for you. So it's just a template for you to work with. So when you, again, I repeat, when you paste the link, I'm repeating this again one more time, you will go directly into this program, which I've given you access to, and you will find some things which I'm going to explain to you what they are, by the way. These are import statements. So don't write in here, just go down to the left and just remix and make a copy for yourself, and it will look like this, okay? Click remix right here. All right, let's get back to the copy now. I'm going to close this one. When you make a copy for yourself, you're not going to see anything, and you probably might be confused where the whole thing's gone. Where's the program? So your program is always here on this slider, what we call right in the corner. It's like a control panel. It's next to publish. If you click on it, you will find file tree right here. And once you click on file tree, you will find the main.py, which is your Python file. And you just have to click on it and you'll find the code, the import statements right here. So I'm hoping everyone is able to follow. If, of course, you have any difficulty in general, just let me know and I'll try my best to repeat any process. But this is the first step of how you can get a template ready for yourself. Okay, step number 1. Step number 2, if you don't know how to do this, or you're not able to do this, or you want to learn from scratch how you can actually get here, if you go back to your home page on Replit, and how do you go back to home? Click at the top left icon, go to home, then you will come to your main account home screen. Now here on Replit, they used to have an option where you can actually easily just create a traditional code yourself, but now they've changed everything to Agent 4. So you have to prompt the AI to create you a file. So what you do is this. Create, you see where I am? This is where you will start creating. I'm showing you how to do what I just did now, which is how to create that type of a program for yourself in future in case you want to create a file. So you're going to say create a blank program. You have to specify what kind of program this is. So it's a blank Python program. We're creating MBOA FLIX with Python programming language, and we're going to be using the Turtle library and the Thinkter library at the same time. So if you search about Thinkter library, it's the graphics library that we use to insert graphics, because this is going to be very graphical. We're going to put images, we're going to put animation, we're going to have text boxes, we're going to have buttons, we're going to have login, we're going to have a backend. So all that can be done with these two libraries, Turtle and Thinkter. So what you'll do is say, create a blank Python program called, you got to give it a name. So the name is usually main.py, like this, that has, we need a couple of libraries. So we're going to need Turtle library that has Turtle. You need a JSON, which is going to be the backend, and you need the Thinkter libraries successfully installed, which can run successfully. It's really important that you put these details, which can run successfully when tested on the BNC, which is the output screen, and the console. Okay, so this is all you need to do. You need to type this in there. I'm going to copy this prompt and put it on the document in Google Classroom so you can be able to access it as well. So here's the prompt. I'm going to call it prompt to create a program. Okay, so you guys can have this prompt right now. Of course, you should learn how to prompt yourself, but this is just to give you an idea. So once you have this set up, all you got to do is send it to the agent, and the agent's going to do the work. So the agent's going to start creating the program for you that you called main.py, and then, of course, you'll be able to access your program by the side here, okay, by the side over here. And when you click again on the toggle control panel, remember what I said, if you click on it, you'll find file tree. And when you click on file tree, you got to wait because the agent is working right now. By the way, every day you have free agent credits. I don't know how many exactly, but I can find out later on and tell you. But I know Replit gives all free members because it's a free sign up. So you get free agent credits every day that's being reset every day. So you can use the agent for a certain amount of time. When you've used up the free credits, it will tell you that you've used it up. You got to wait up for the next day so it can be reset. So that's pretty much what's happening here. You notice that the main just got created right now. Now, if you have code in here, don't be alarmed, okay? Just delete everything because you're not going to need all this code. You're going to start from scratch. So get rid of all this code and keep it blank, okay? So hopefully everyone understands the two options I just showed you. First option is you can get from your link, okay? So you can basically remix this program. And the second option is that you can actually create a program file using the prompt. Now, someone just raised their hand. Go ahead, I'm listening to you because I can't really come back to the classroom. So I'm listening to you if you have a question.
At this person, some students are trying to join, so they're telling you have to accept them into the classroom. So I don't know if you can check that out.
Sure. I think we'll have to solve the problem. Sorry, guys. I'll solve the problem, Kumo, as well. I don't know why it's allowed. I mean, these are students that are part of the classroom, so we'll do something where they can just automatically all join so that they don't have to be asking to join in. But I think I've accepted everybody. Hopefully everyone is in here. It says we have 27 participants. Or is
Okay.
it, yeah, I hope everyone is in here, hopefully. Is anyone having any issues so far? No? Okay. Well, if anyone comes in, please, Kumo or Mr. Kila, Mrs. Kumo, just let me know, and I'll come back and try and give them accept so they can join in. All right, guys, we're ready to get started now. So let's get started with MBOA FLIX. All right, so now we have created our program, right? So let's go back to the file. So this is what I have. Now, let me explain what these libraries are doing. So if you have a blank file, start off by writing import turtle. And this is for graphics, right? I'm not going to waste too much time because of the, class time is 1 hour, but it's for insertion for graphics, which means pictures, as I said. And Thinkter is also for insertion for graphics, but also for GUI. So that means like pictures and text boxes and buttons and all that stuff. Thinkter message box is actually another library or class from Thinkter, which basically allows you to display pop-up messages. So you'll see what I mean in a few minutes. And then the PL library is one that we use to be able to display background pictures or images using the Thinkter, specifically using the Thinkter library. Okay, Thinkter library is, again, remember, for GUI. So don't forget. JSON is going to be necessary for us to use the backend file because we're going to allow the user to not be able to access MBOA FLIX unless if they're signed up. And if they're signed up successfully, then they can access MBOA FLIX. And if they're not, they need to sign up. So we need a sign up /login. This is what JSON does. So basically JSON file, or you can call it database, is used to store data in the form of dictionaries, but you'll see what I mean. Now, OS is operating system, and basically what that does is file handling, which means text files, okay? So that means .txt files, which you will see. And you probably be wondering why we need txt files. Well, that's because we want to insert data science here. So what kind of way would we do that? We want to be able to make it such that whenever a person comes and visits MBOA FLIX, we want to know which one of the things in or on MBOA FLIX is quite famous. That means which things are people more often accessing. Do they want to learn more about Cameroonian culinary, Cameroonian education? What we want to know which one's more popular, and that's how you're able to sort of, address and adjust your app to meet the needs of your users. Now, one more thing I want to insert here, which we definitely need, is the matplotlib library. So import matplotlib as pyplot or SPLT. So we can basically, when we say SPLT, it's because it's very long. Well, the name is not very long, but instead of you always putting this in your code as it is, we're just going to always say PLT instead. So this is another important one. We're going to use it for data science. Let me take my screen to the side here so you can see properly. So for insertion of graphs, like what we're talking about is like bar charts, line graphs. We're going to need that because we need to analyze user behavior and see which page is more famous on MBOA FLIX, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now we're going to get started. We need to go to Gemini. Gemini.google.com. Now, I know there are some people that want admission into the classroom. I'm going to come back and give them admission. But in the meantime, if you're following me up until here, there is another site that we will need to go to, which I mentioned in the Google Classroom, and that's gemini.google.com. This is a free generative AI tool. It's like Claude, it's like all the other ones, Copilot, ChatGPT, but Gemini is very smart, and you're soon going to find out why. It's one of the smartest generative AI tools, if not the smartest, based on what we've been using on Nazli Tech School, what we've been teaching our students, and I'm sure what you guys have been looking at or learning in Cameroon. You'll find out it's really smart and good when it comes especially to research, image generation, maybe coding not as smart as Claude Code or the other ones, but in terms of image generation and research, it's really good. So I'm going to go admit some more students. I think only one person. Okay, back to what I was saying. Remember what I just did, right? I have all this stuff, and don't worry, I'll be able to give you guys a screenshot of my code later on, along with this lesson recording that you guys will have access to. Now, the first thing I want you to do is when you're on Gemini, if you really can access Gemini properly, then you should just be able to see this saying, hi, your name, and where should we start, right? So this is probably what you would see. If you're not able to access Gemini and you have some sort of restriction, well, that's probably because you either have maybe an age restriction, which I don't think so. It usually doesn't work for people who are not adults, like 18 years under, or maybe just something to do with like the country. So you might want to switch VPN or something like that. Another one that I want you to actually open is called Google Flow. And Google Flow is very, very good when it comes to image generation and video generation, which is what we're going to need for insertion of animated images. So you just have to type Google Flow and you'll find it there. It will probably tell you to, to click like some sort of start, continue, some sort of agreement. So you just need to click get started and you will then come back here. Now I'll click on new project and just keep this open. Okay, so what is the first thing we need to do? Let's get back to Google Classroom. To set up MBOA FLIX, first of all, as a developer, you have to know how you want your MBOA FLIX to look like, right? So let's look at the one in the document here.
Please, can you add me some students?
Sure, of course. Let me get back to the classroom. And okay, I think I see one. I'm not sure if there's more than one, but I added him right now or her. And we have 30. So I'm also going to add Vidal. I think they're all in there right now. Thanks, Mrs. Kumo. If there's anyone more, just let me know. Okay, I'm going back to what I was talking about, guys. You know, I've done one example here, right? You guys can see it. This is an example of MBOA FLIX, like the home screen. We're talking about the home screen now. Now, this home screen is going to be available for everybody. Of course, we're not all going to have the same home screen. I'm going to teach you how to create something like this. But the idea is that they would access, once they come onto MBOA FLIX, they would be able to see this home screen. But if they try to click on anything like mastering and dope fabric art or cooking authentic Ndole, or anything of that sort, they can't access it because if they click on it, what we're going to do is we're going to tell, it's going to pop up a message, which is why we had the message box. If you remember, we imported that, and it will tell them, sorry, you cannot access this unless you're signed, or unless you're logged in or signed up. So it would not allow them to access anything. It will directly take them to a screen, which I'm going to show you guys how it's going to look like, where they would need to log in if they're already signed up, or they would need to sign up if they're not signed up. So they can't access anything, but they can see like what it's about. They could probably only access maybe the home screen, which obviously is this one, and maybe the info, which is going to be like about us, but all the other things they can't access. So they need to log in or sign up. So how do we create this? And I'll show you one example. Let me show you a program that's already sort of running, like an example, just to give you an idea. So this is something on Replit. Okay, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. It's already a sample program, okay, just to give you an idea. And you can see that it starts with this home screen right here, right? This one. Now, just an example. If I click on this screen, it will change into this screen. You see this? And I'm supposed to sign into this, like sign up. Let's say I just click nothing. It says this already exists, blank. Normally, it's supposed to say it's blank. We can do that. Or it says it's already existing. So if I do something like, let's say I think this is something that is signed in already. Let's try that. And it says it already exists. And you know why it's doing that is because if you look at my file over here, the backend, the one I was telling you about, the JSON file, you see that all the users that are already stored in the database are already present. That's why it's saying it's existing. And even this one, that's why it's saying this one's existing. Okay, let's take that one out. Now, these are like all the people, right? But if I come back and I want to sign fresh, maybe a different account, I'm going to say Kila, for example, right? And I sign login. It says account created successfully. If I say okay, it takes me to this page. Now, this page, I'm going to show you one more time. Let me stop and clear. I'll rerun this program again, okay? So you can see something because I think I have it on this side. There it is. So click again, come back here. If I try Kila now, right? This is Kila is already signed up. So if I try to log in with Kila, Kila already exists. So basically what it will do is it will take me directly into MBOA FLIX, and now Kila can access anything. However, if I try to sign, I want to just show you that full page, Kumo, for example. and then I click login, and then I create an account, then I come to this page. Well, essentially, this would be like where the MBOA FLIX page would be, the main page that they can access what they want there. This is essentially how it works. So that's what we're gonna do. So first things first, let's start creating a prompt so we can create a home screen. If you have no idea what to do, like if you have no idea how to get to this stage, and I'm going to show you again, the stage I'm talking about is like here. You don't know how to build something like this. You don't know how to put all these options. You got to do a little research. So what research you could do, I'll show you. You could ask the AI and say, give me some suggestions. You have to be free when you're communicating with AI, and whatever you feed the AI is what it will give you. If you're more precise, it will give you more information. If you're less precise, it wouldn't give you much. So give me some suggestions of, let's say, things that people around the world need to know about Cameroon and learn from Cameroon. You can give it some ideas. Okay, for things, I think this would be on things. So you could give it some ideas, like what kind of ideas? Like for me, I would go like fashion, maybe Cameroonian attire. We can use that to modernize, to make a blazer, whatnot. Maybe the stitching, because I researched a little bit, the type of stitching, whatnot. Whatever you're interested in, put it here. Sports, anything. I would go with culinary also. I would go with maybe education. I don't know, bilingualism, anything you can just do etc and just that's it. And then send it to your AI. Make sure your AI on Gemini is always set to thinking, okay? Because if you go fast, it does give you response, but it doesn't think that much. So thinking is good, or pro is more when you're dealing with like code. You want it to give you like a sample code or something like that. So I'm gonna send it to the AI. Let's see what Gemini is gonna give me. And based on that, you have to do a research. If you wanna be a good software developer, some of you already know that you have to research really well, analyze the problem, understand what you're trying to do and who you're trying to reach out. So it says Cameroon is often called the Africa in a miniature. I'm going to skip all that stuff. It's talking about fashion. Cameroon's fashion is a visual. Okay, I want to know what exactly they can learn here. It's talking about the lesson. Maybe they can learn how to wear your history. Cameroonians use clothing not just for style, but bridge between their modern lives and their ancestral youth. So maybe just clothing of Cameroon, talking a little bit. So what I'll do is like, I'll have an option called fashion. And when they click fashion, I'll have things that are like cards, like picture cards that are divided into these three things, or even just into one picture card that tells them how to wear your like Cameroon outfit, or how to have a Cameroonian style in your outfit with modern outfit dressing or something like that. So I'll go for fashion, but I think what I'll do is like learn the Cameroonian style of dressing with modern, style of dressing. So this is something I will do. That's giving me culinary. It's telling me about the national, obviously it's going to give me the national dish. I think a lot of people would like to learn how to make the national dish. So I will have a picture card for this, for sure. And it's giving me more information, so I'm going to skip that. It says the bitterness is a base Cameroonian cuisine, teaches that ingredients. So this is a lesson, right? If you still want more details, for example, I particularly want something like insert. Give me options of what people should learn from each category above. So you kind of need, maybe you give more information and then just send it so you can know exactly what they could learn. I didn't finish everything that I was showing you guys, obviously, but I just want to see what the AI will give me. So it's giving me fashion. It says, instead of just wearing a pattern because it looks cool, learn how to decode the Indo symbols. So maybe you teach them each geometric shape, how it's representing a specific proverb. That's something cool that people would like to know. So like that. And that's, I think, what I'm going to do when I'm creating my card. So I'll go with fashion, culinary, economics. It's talking about economics, finance. So probably about the Injangi, which is something that I think it's a Cameroonian thing where people contribute in a community. That's good to know. And music. Also, maybe Makossa is quite famous. So maybe learning about that and stuff like that. So you choose what you want. So I think I'm ready to now start creating my picture. So now what I'll do is this. This one's going to be detailed. Now, we go on to the next thing. Now create a viral. I always use this word viral. Attractive, captivating, those kind of words. Attractive home screen for a Cameroonian themed app called, okay, I should put a hyphen between these two things. Yes, there it is. So it's called MBOA FLIX. You can call it something else if you want to give it another name. That would have would have menu options. I kind of want to say menu options. You got to decide how you want to arrange it. So what I did here was I had menu options at the top. You could put wherever you want the menu options to be. I had a banner in the middle. Then I had 4 picture card options of what I want to teach people once they visit MBOA FLIX. So you kind of need to explain that to the AI. So you're going to say, and one important thing to do also is when you're saying create a viral, attractive home screen or picture, you should definitely say picture, okay, for a home screen or of a home screen. And then you should also say with an aspect ratio. This is important. Aspect ratio meaning what is the size of this picture? 16:9 is horizontal view. You can be more specific and say 1,376 by 768 pixels because that's going to be more horizontal. If you're going to do a mobile app about this, then you have to go vertical, which means 9:16, which means you'd have something like 1,900 and something by 1,108. You can search that online. So if you want to go like mobile, you want to create it as a mobile app, and then you will use AI to kind of vibe code it a little bit and add some more details to it, and then maybe launch it and sell it, stuff like that. You can do that as well. But I'm going to go for the traditional horizontal thing. So that would have many options, which are, you have to be specific. What would be your menu options? So I think I'm going to say about us. Okay, that's like my first one, fashion. So what will happen if they click fashion? The thing that is on here, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you look at this picture right here, if they click any one of these options, right, it's not necessarily going to take them to these picture cards. These picture cards are what's trending on the home screen, which you can actually use your intuition and actually change them, because you should put things that are trending that people liked seeing or like learning about. That's why you're doing data science, consumer behavior, user behavior. In the meantime, what I'll do is I'll have like fixed picture cards that basically if they click on any one of these, it will take them directly to learn what they're clicking about. That means they go into another screen. However, if they click on any of the categories, like if they go into clothing, then I will have sub picture cards, like other picture cards. So not necessarily these ones, other things inside that. So that's where there's a difference. It shouldn't be the same thing that you have here, which is what you will have here. So let's get back into that. And then once we have our page, we go back to our coding. So fashion, right? Culinary. What else did we find out from the AI? Okay, education, economics. Maybe I'll say Njangi, and I'll just basically go for economics. And what else do I need? Education, or what else did they mention? Maybe music. And then maybe user profile, because then maybe the user wants to update something or do something. You might want to have that, or you might not. It depends. So once you have this as your menu options, then you'd have to continue saying insert a, attractive banner. You can say banner, Cameroonian themed, attractive Cameroonian themed banner or banner picture underneath the menu options. This is really important because you're kind of telling it what to do. So the menu, where do you want the banner? Do you want it there underneath? Do you want it by the side? How do you want a sidebar? You kind of need to know the terminology for this stuff. So banner is what I want. And then underneath the banner, so I'm going to say, and underneath the banner picture, insert 4 picture cards representing, so you got to talk about what, like, again, picture cards, I mean like these ones, if you want this sort of thing, okay? Picture cards. So you got to talk about them. If you want more than 4, you can say more than 4. If you want less, you can say less. So picture cards representing what? I will say representing a specific thing, okay? Specific thing from the menu option for users to learn how to do. Okay, you can just do that if you have no idea what to put there. If you do, you can be more specific. Now, finally, the last part before we send it to the AI is then insert at the bottom of the home screen, a footer bar, or you can say a footer section. And you can say which contains, I don't know, social media links, something designed by you, which should have 2 social media link platforms. And that's going to be, I'm going to say, for example, Facebook, if you have a Facebook or whatever, YouTube, something like that. And that's it. And then if you wanted to do anything extra, you can always tell it do something extra. If not, then you're ready to go. Switch the tools to create image. That's it. Make sure you read what you have, send it, and see what the AI is going to give you. Now, it might not give you exactly what you're expecting in the beginning. Like, it will give you something. Maybe it's not something you like. The color theme is also something I want to talk to you about. If you have a specific color theme or a color montage that you wanted to use, then you can also specify it here. So I just did this to just show you a very basic example of what it's going to do. And then, from there, we can work with it. So it's still working. Another thing is you can copy this. You see what it did for me? See what I have? This is what I have. One thing I don't like, though, is I don't like it to put Musa or anybody like that because, this is just going to be general for everybody. So I don't like that. I might tell the AI just to remove the Musa profile from there, or you can be creative and just edit this on Canva. But I like the idea. It has about us, it has fashion, culinary, janky, music, user profile. This is good. I like the banner. I like the thing that says start your journey, which you can actually make clickable to something else. You just have to be creative here. Now, I like the fact that it starts to say master the art of the embroidery, cook authentic indole, and this and that. So I like this. To me, this is good. I can use it. I can do anything to change. You can just say remove. You see what I'm going to do now? Remove only. Make sure you say that. And then you say Musa C profile icon on the top right, because it's on the top right part of the picture. So this is how you prompt your AI above. That's it. Then you can say, do not always do this, because AI has a problem of kind of understanding instruction. So say, do not change anything else. Okay, and then you send it. So once you do that, I'll show you what you get, and I'll show you another trick of how you can get very high quality user interface picture, and then decide, and then now we're ready to code. Someone raised their hand. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Alicia, please can you check if some students want to join?
Of course, sure. Let me go back and I'll check. Hopefully everyone is, again, if you guys have any questions, don't be recorded. I'm trying to go very slow on it, but if you have any specific questions, you can always ask Mrs. Kumo and Mr. Kila, and they can ask me. Do you guys notice that that's no longer anymore? If you don't want the search icon and the notifications bar, you just have to tell it again. Remove that too. So now I don't have Musa anywhere like that. You have to be specific if you want to remove things. So now I have this. I like this one, so I'm going to download it. I also want to show you another option, but at the same time, I'm downloading it because I want to show you something very important. Now, copy your prompt. This was the prompt we send the AI. Go to your Google Flow. Remember Google Flow? Go there, paste your prompt in here. If you have a logo or anything like that, you can upload a logo. If you design, like if you are very into that creativity where you want to do a unique logo. Now switch from the video to images. And then I want you to select 16:9, and these ×1 to ×4 means how many image versions do you want the AI to generate for you. So for now, let's go with 3 image versions, right? And that means you will see 3 different pictures generate for you, and then you finally decide which one you want to go with for your home screen. Remember that home screen is there because it's the first thing to give them the idea of what MBOA FLIX is about, but they cannot access anything unless they are actually signed up, right? Or logged in. So let's wait a little. It doesn't take that much time. And then we'll go back to this picture. If you guys notice, I just downloaded it. So let me delete this one so we don't have confusion. This is the picture I downloaded on my computer. It's on the downloads, this one. I like it, like I said, but what is the size? Take your mouse over it. Look at the size. I have 1,376 by 768. That's perfect. That means it works for me exactly as I want. I don't need to go and resize anything, which is why it's important you specify to the AI when you're here, specify that you want that specific size. That's what goes well on your output. Now look at what I generated. Look at the first option here. I could do this one. This is very cool. I think this one's even cooler. So this is why I said I could do this one, right? This one's also cool. Which one do you guys like? And I could do this one. There's so many, like, I'm confused. I don't know which one to do. They're all good. But I think I might go with actually these ones because they don't have any searching icon or anything like that. I think they just straightforward. I pretty much like this one because this one's very clear and even has a logo. I like this one. So I might go with this one. So let's download. But again, we got to pay attention to the size here because this is now Google Flow. Okay, so what's the size on this? The size here is 1,376 by 768. That's good. We got a good size. Same. So no problem. All right, so now let's go back and code it. Now go back to your program. Remember the one that you had? We're going to start putting this background picture into using Turtle library. So the first thing I'll do is I'll create a turtle screen object. Now you can do Thinkter here, okay? By the way, if you're wondering, you can do Thinkter. Thinkter is, again, the library we're going to use to insert graphics. But the reason why I'm not doing Thinkter is because I want to make this screen clickable. Not this one. That's not the one I'm going to do. I'm going to do this one. I want to make it clickable. What does that mean? When they click, 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 it's somewhere. And it's easier for me to do this with Turtle. Even though I could do it with Thinkter and put like buttons, but I feel like I want them to click on the icon. Since we're dealing with Turtle here, I mean, we're dealing with Python, Turtle does this very well. Then Thinkter would be good when I want to put like boxes and so on for logins and stuff. So let's get back to the code and let's continue. So now I'm going to do screen.setup. What am I doing here? I'm setting up the width. You got to specify the width. How big is this picture? 1,376, remember? Height is 768. We're talking pixels. Okay, picture resolution, which is in pixels. Next thing we want to do, so remember what you do is first have your libraries imported. Next have your, sorry about that, I clicked the agent. Next have your screen turtle object created. This is important because that creates your screen frame. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Doesn't need to be called screen, but this needs to be written down exactly as it is. Then set up the size of your screen or your picture because you have to maintain that consistent size so that all the screens open nicely with that same size. Now, after this, we're going to create a function. I'll call this function, this will be my start function, so I'll call it display home. So you notice that I'm creating a function using define, putting the name of my function, and then brackets dot. Now when you're creating functions, you don't have to put separate like spaces, which I'm sure some of you know. You kind of need to put something there where it's like a 2-word becomes like a 1. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is show my picture. So bgpic, this is how you do it. Screen.bgpic. BGPic meaning background picture. Put the name of your photo. If you guys are wondering where is the photo, well, that's a very good question. I need to actually drag and put my photo in here. So in Replit, the easiest way you can get a photo in here is there's actually 2 ways. Either you upload a folder from your computer that has the pictures inside of it, which is a good way to be organized, by the way. It's a good way. What I'm saying is that you go back, you create a folder on your computer. Look at what I'm doing. And then you call this folder, I don't know, pictures. And then you put this picture inside of the folder. Then you come back to Replit and you click on upload folder. And then you can just upload your folder directly, which is this one, pictures. And then click upload and you get it here. It will upload for you once it's done. See, it just did it for me right here. See, now I have the picture. You could do it this way. Or if you want, you could directly just drag and drop. If you have your downloads option, on your browser, you can drag and drop the picture directly into here and it will be here as well. So you can see that I have the picture also here. So if it tells you failed to load media, maybe that's because the picture isn't like in the same position anymore. Like it's not in the same file. So you know what I'll do? I'll delete it. There's no problem. Delete it. I'm talking about the second option, by the way. Don't get confused. I talked about the first option with the folder. Now I'm talking about the second option where you can drag and drop your picture directly. Now go back to your flow. Go back to where you had the picture. Download your photo again. Now come back again to your program. Click on the download arrow here. This is the one. Now drag and drop it again here. Once you do that, click on this, and you see the photo is here. So it was doing the error before because I moved the photo into the folder. Remember the one that I put on my computer? So it's no longer accessible. It's now inside in here. So that's why it was giving you the error. Okay, anyways, let's move on from here. So moving back into the code, let's get back to the code. BGPic, now I have my photo. I like to rename my pictures. I don't like to keep this name. It's really long. So what I'll do is I'll rename it. You can click the 3 dots. I'll call it home. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. This is really important, actually. Your pictures can't be .jpeg, okay? No, it doesn't work with Turtle. You need to have .gif, okay? So if you have a .jpeg, then you just have to convert it really easily. So there's many ways you can do it. You can just go online and say convert. So you got to check the extension of your picture. If you're wondering how you do that, when you download a picture, sorry I didn't tell you this earlier on, but actually when you download a picture, just go and take your mouse over the picture, like hover over it, and look at the image type. It's saying JPEG. Once you see JPEG, it doesn't work with Turtle. It works with Thinker, but not with Turtle. You need to make it as GIF. Just, you're not changing anything. You're just changing the extension. So what you do is you go convert JPEG to GIF online. There's so many free online conversions that last you like a minute. And then once you're here, just come back and just, upload your photo right here, which is what you guys can see, and go and upload the picture. You can drag and drop it as well, but this is the photo or the one inside of the folder. Anyone is fine. And then you just click here, put it there, convert, and wait for it to finish. Once it's done, click download. Your picture is now ready. It's the exact same thing. Look at it again. You see, I have the same thing again, but this time it's GIF. So that's what you need. Now go back again to your program. Now you can get rid of this one. You don't need to have it as a, as a JPEG. It doesn't work. Delete this one too, because it's the same thing. Again, don't forget that the code is, don't be alarmed. This is just where you run your code in the console, which I'll talk about. Let me close that. Your code is always going to be in your main. Now my folder is empty. Nothing's inside. The picture is gone. So what I'll do is click the drag and drop. Now drag my picture, drop it here. Okay, I drag and dropped it in here. You can see it's now this one. But if you click on it and you say rename, you notice that it's now a .gif. So I'm going to call it home. This is one option if you want to put the picture directly. If you want to put the picture into the folder, then again, you do the same process, but this time you put it into the folder. So you can, if it's hard for you to see, because it's really hard to see where my folder is, then just go back to your computer and just, remove the one here and replace with the new one. This is the one. And you have your picture now. That's a GIF. See? GIF. So that's the one you can come back and upload again. So I'm going to delete this folder. I don't need it. I already have my picture. So that's it. It's right here. Remember, home. Now let's go back to the code. Now I have my picture. Put the quotation marks, home.gif, and it's good to go. That's it. Now, to show this and see if this works first, let's test it and see if we can see our picture first before we do anything else. This is really what you have to write down in code to be able to show a photo, a background picture using Python Turtle. Then the last thing you do is just basically call your function. So display home. And then just put screen.main loop. This would get your picture to show. Keep your picture showing. It's really important that you call your function. Did you notice that I gave some space? Why did I give some space? Well, because we're going to put more code. This is not the only code. We're going to type a lot of code, isn't it? So I gave some space there. You don't have to, but it's just a good way to know you're going to type code. And then you need to call your function here at the very end. You need to make sure your function is starting on the same line as where you defined it. This is what we call indentation. If you space it in, it wouldn't work. You're spacing it in. You notice this one is spaced in. That's correct because this is the body of your function. This is what you want the compiler to run, right? Compiler is the one that runs the program, gives output. But this one, when you're calling it, it needs to be on the same line as where you defined it. And this screen.main loop, if you remember, screen is this actual screen that's showing the picture. The main loop means that it's keeping the picture showing. That's all that's happening. Okay, let me go and admit some people and come back and run this so you guys can see. All right, now I'm going back. Let's zoom out a little. Now let's run the code. How do you run the code? That's it. That's all you have to do really, just to get to see if this picture is showing. Now, if you want to run the code, make sure you go to the plus sign, any one of these plus signs, just click on it. You need to open two things. First, you need your VNC, which is called this one. Just type VNC, click on it, open it. Second, you need to have your console. Just click on it. Now, your console is where it activates because Replit is working on a port. You notice that there's a port open, right? So what you do is just stop anything running, clear your past runs right here. Clear anything from running. Look at your VNC, go to your console, click your workflow, then you will see run main. Do you see that? Run main. What's main? Your program. So click run and see if everything's fine. Go back to your VNC. And wait for it. If you have it not running for whatever reason, what you can do is just be patient and wait. See, boom, it just ran. So this will run perfectly like this if you have the libraries installed. What are the libraries? These ones, the ones I gave you from that program. If these libraries are not installed and you're doing this from scratch, then you might not get it to run like this initially, like perfectly initially like this. You'd have to come to your agent. And if you don't see it running, you'd have to tell your agent, compile, say compile, this is the keyword, compile this program and run it on VNC. I'm not going to do that because it's already running. But when you do this, if it's not showing for you, for whatever reason, you will say compile this program. You can say compile this program afresh, means from the beginning, and run it on VNC, and then you send it to the agent, and the agent's going to work. Remember, you have free agent every day. That's reset it every day. If it gets to the maximum, just wait till the next day and then try it again. But it will run. It doesn't take time. So you see what I have right now. If you're wondering where is the footer that was showing, well, the footer is you have to just zoom out on your browser, really. The browser sometimes is because the picture is quite big. So just zoom out a little bit and you're able to see it. And because when people actually come and use your app when you publish this, remember that their screen resolution, by the time you publish it, will actually fit everybody's screen. It will be desktop friendly, right? So right now, this is how my thing looks like, okay? So if I zoom in, then it's gonna make the stuff disappear, and I don't want the bottom to disappear. It's still gonna show, but not as much as it needs to. So this is basically the main idea, right? So this is successful. What's the next thing? Well, the next thing is we have to make these things clickable, right? Nothing makes sense right now. You can make a pop-up message and tell them, oh, you need to, do you have an account? And if you know, okay, you need to have an account so you can access any of these things. Or you can make it such that if they click anything, maybe the about us should be fine. You can show them about us. That shouldn't be restricted. But if they click fashion or culinary, it depends on what you want to restrict them on, then they can't really access those. So let's get back to the next part. How do we make things clickable? Well, go back to your code again. We need to start making those options clickable, right? It's like these things. They need to be clickable. They need to be useful for something. So what we'll do is create a click function. You can call it click. You can call it anything you want. Pass your X and Y coordinate, just like in math. Print X and Y. We're printing, when we say print, it means that it's going to show you on the console. Don't forget. Printing means you're displaying something on console. Console is like the place where it displays like just the general output of your code, not necessarily the VNC. The VNC is where it displays like the output, the graphics. So console, I'm printing X and Y, which means my X and Y coordinates, okay? So we're talking just like math, X and Y coordinates. You guys know how this works in math, which means your X is positive when you go towards the right and negative when you go towards the left, and Y is positive when you go up, Y is negative when you go down. It's the same thing you have to put in your mind, because when you're dealing with X and Y's, you want to know like what do you want to make clickable? If they click this specific area, then open this specific page. If they click this area, open that page. So you need to know the boundaries. So you need to have in your head where X is going to be, where Y is going to be. At least have that idea, but I'll show you a trick. So now that you have this done, it's not finished yet. You still have to finish this code, this click function. You say turtle dot on screen click, and then you pass your you pass the name of your function, click. You can call it anything, by the way. Again, this is a function because I'm using def, right? So this is a click function. So click function to make the screen clickable, or you can say interactive, whichever one you want to use. Now you notice that the print is also indented. There's indentation. Indentation means spacing. I'm not doing this with the print. You see, I'm going to get an error. I'm spacing that with the tab on the keyboard. So it has to be spaced in. Everything in a function needs to be inside of the function. The only thing that needs to be outside is when you're calling the function. The last thing we're going to have is turtle.listen. What does this mean? You're telling the compiler to pay attention to when they click anywhere on the screen, something should happen. So remember that in Turtle, we have on-screen click, but we also have something called on-key press. And on-key press means if you want to do it differently, where they hit a key on the keyboard and something else and something happens, then you can use on-key press. You're going to say, okay, when they press the E key, or when they hit the space bar, or when they use the arrow key, then something's going to happen. If you want to explore more of that, you can check that online. Okay, explore on key press. But for this one, the best is on screen click, when they click. Now, the last thing I like to do is always close my turtle. So I'll do turtle.done, which means once it's finished listening to whatever it's being clicked, then it's done. Now, let's see if this is working. If this is working, you know what's going to happen is when you run this program again and you click anywhere on the screen, it's supposed to give you some sort of X and Y coordinates here. So let's see if it works. Go back to your console. I'm going to zoom out a little bit again. Okay, go back to your console. Stop it from running. It's a little corner red, square. Go to your workflow, click run. Now go to your VNC. And it's back again, right? Back again. So if you want to make it a main screen or whatever screen, it really depends. You just have to drag it to the side. Remember, this is your output because you're the developer. Now, if I click anywhere, look at what I'm doing. Clicking anywhere. Click, 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 click. Let's go to console. You see? I'm getting coordinates now. These are coordinates. So this is going to help us to determine when they click about us, it should open about us page. When they click fashion, it should go to fashion. But remember, these pages are going to be restricted where they cannot access it unless if they're signed up. So we're going to create a sign up for that, like what you saw in the other program. So now how do we make a specific thing clickable? Well, if we want to start off, understand how this is going to work first. What I'm planning to do for me is I obviously need to design an About Us page and tell them what this whole MBOA FLIX is about and make it look good. I also want to show you guys how we can make this animated, okay? We can animate, make it even better. So how do we animate before we make clicking? But I think I'll show you the clicking first, then I'll show you the animation. Well, now that we have this thing clickable, right? It's now clickable. Let's go back to the console. I will clear everything so that we don't get confused with the coordinates. Stop it again, clear it again, go to your workflow, run again, come back to VNC. Now, let's say I want to start with About Us. When they click it, it's going to say something like the About Us page is going to open now. So what will I do? Click the edges, make it a boundary, just like you're doing geometry and math. Boundary, click the top edge, top edges, bottom edges. You're basically saying if they click anywhere around here, then it's going to open About Us. Because if you don't do this, then how you're going to be differentiating between every single thing that's being clickable? So I click the top edges, the top two, and I click the bottom. So I'm supposed to have 4 coordinates. Let's see, I have 4. Okay, so what do I do with these coordinates? Let me zoom in so you can see. This is the important part. Well, first of all, just like math, we have the x coordinates on the left. Always remember, x is first, your x coordinates, and then your y coordinates. So x as in either going left or right, y as in going up or down. So these are the coordinate boundaries for the About Us. So basically what I'm saying is you need to look at all your x coordinates, pick the smallest and pick the largest because you're going to create a range. Now the smallest is -375. The largest is -223, right? We all agree. I mean, negative numbers. So let's get back to your code. Come back here. Underneath your if, you're going to start if. Underneath your print, you're going to put a condition. This is a conditional statement. So if x is greater than or equal to, give the range, -223. And you notice why I say greater than or equal? Because I'm involving this one, starting from this, like according to the range, remember? So the smallest, the biggest, sorry, I made a mistake. Let me go back. We need to start with the smallest. So that's the biggest, -375. Why? Because that was the smallest, this one. The biggest is -223, this one right here. So you have to pick the smallest and the biggest, starting with the smallest, and then going all the way to the biggest. So going back to this code, -375 and x is less than or equal to -223, and y is greater than or equal to. So these are what we call logical operations in Python, in any programming language. Now go back to your console. You're done with the x because you've picked the smallest and the largest. You're done. You've put the range, right? Starting from -375 going all the way to -223. Now let's look at the one on the right side, which is your y coordinates. Take your smallest, because these are positive numbers, so it works differently from negative. Take the smallest, which is 220, and the biggest, which is 348. So go back again. So y is greater than 220, and y is less than or equal to, was it 348? So put that there. That's it. Now you decide what's going to happen. So you've put the coordinates. Remember to always be organized. Put a comment. I didn't explain to you what the hashtags means. These are comments, by the way. They don't affect your code in any way. It's just a way of putting things for you to remember and just to keep yourself organized of what's happening per line, or you can put like a multi-line. So this is going to be the about us. You can say about us label, so you know what that is. So when they click it, what do you want to happen? What do you want to happen? Normally, it's supposed to open a page. For now, let's say we want to do, I'm going to create a variable open about us. You'll see what I want to do. Turtle.text input. And then I'll give the name. I'm trying to create like a pop-up message in Turtle because I want to show you how this works. And so I'll give it like a name. I'll say, well, about us. That's a good name. And then I'll say, welcome to the About Us page. Remind you, this is just an example. We're not going to actually have this. So like that, okay? Like this. This is what should pop up and show the user. That's it. That's all. This is how you make things clickable. You decide what you want to happen when they click on About Us. What do you want to happen? This is where you put statements in there, where you open up a new page and you call a new function and do stuff there, which we will do. For now, I'm just going to go and show you guys how this is going to work. So let's go back to console again. Now we see if that's actually working, what we just did. Is it going to tell us that message? And the message is this one. That's what's going to show them. If you're wondering what this part is, that's just the title, the name that you give the pop-up box. It's going to be a pop-up window. The name of the window is called About Us, but the actual message that would show is this. And that's how you insert it. You have to say turtle.text input, and then you have to give it a variable name. I forgot to explain that. Variable name, whatever name you want to call it, equals to turtle.text input. This is how you put a pop-up box for anything. You can change the title of the box and you decide what the message will be. So let's go on to VNC. I'm going to stop it one more time because I'm not sure if I reran that. And remember, always clear past runs. Go to your workflow, run your main, come back to your VNC, and wait for it to load. Now click this and see if you get the pop-up message box. So let's see. You see, I got it. Welcome to the About Us page. See that? I got it. If I say OK, I was clicking a lot of times, by the way. So you can just close the page because I was clicking it a lot of times. You see, anytime I click it, now it pops up. Click it, pops. Right? Okay, okay, okay. Well, you decide what happens. In this case, it's supposed to open up another screen that's supposed to be an About Us. And that's just giving you an idea. Like at this point, I think you already understand at this point, if you watch this video and if you stop and play, you understand at least how to make things. And that's the same thing. If you want to make the other ones clickable, you will do the same thing again. You click the top edges and you click the bottom edges. The same thing again. You'd have to establish the boundary of the area. And then you go back to your console again. Just pick the last 4 ones. Don't get confused. It's always the last 4 because you're clicking 2 top edges, 2 bottom edges. And then you pick the smallest and the largest, the same thing again. And the smallest here is -204. The largest is -55. Then you'd go back to your code and you'd go back into the same place. And you just have to add another if statement like this. This is going to be another one, right? If x greater than or equal to, again, -200, and remember, we're doing the next one, which is fashion. So the last 4, remember, the last 4. -204 is the smallest, and -55 is the biggest. So -204 and x, and I think this is where I'll stop for today. negative 55, and y is greater than or equal to, the same thing again, go back to your console. Now that you've finished with the x, what is your y? The smallest is positive 217, the largest is 344. So go back, greater than 217, and y is less than or equal to 300, and what was it again? 344. So that's just what you will do. And then again, put your colon, the two dots. What is this about? You can put the label. Remember, it was for fashion, at least for me. So I'm going to put hashtag fashion. So you keep yourself organized and you know what you're doing. And then here will be, you can print a message if you want, open fashion, just hit the tab key. This is a good suggestion from the AI. Same thing, you know, supposed to open about us. This one's opening about fashion. So let's check and see. And if you want to do more and more and more, you just have to keep adding more and more and more because they're all in the same page, right? They're all in the same page. You're making this clickable from screen number 1. Now let's stop this and rerun it again for the last time. And you'll see now when we click on either one of them, it's going to pop up the message for us. Go to your VNC. When you click on about us, it's doing this, okay? When you click on fashion, it's doing this. See that? That's the difference. Okay, well, I think for today, we still have a lot of things to do. How to animate this page. We're going to do it next time. How to now start making it into a sign up and a login, which is what we're going to do. But for now, your challenge for today and for you to work on is to create your own MBOA FLIX, what you like based on what we've done, and to use the code blocks to show your MBOA FLIX and to get you started on having it clickable for all the options. You can go ahead. You don't have to wait for me. Just make everything clickable to say something for now, at least. You don't need to make your banner clickable because I don't think, unless you want to take them somewhere, you want to be creative about it. But mostly these options clickable, you need these options clickable. And don't forget you have a footer as well that you need to probably make clickable because you probably will redirect them to your own like page, which we can do, like open a separate web page. I'm also going to talk about color patterns and themes next class too as well. But I think for today, I'll be stopping here. I hope you guys have been able to follow. And I hope it was understandable and enjoyable. Thank you guys for all those emojis. I'm glad you understand. That's very cool. Thank you. I don't know who's been able to join us and who was not able to join us, but I'm going to release the lesson. Mr. Kila and Ms. Kumo is our collaborative partners in Cameroon. They've made this possible for you guys, and they're looking for the best for you guys. And we want to help you in the best way possible to get you started, at least to start creating, because I'm sure most of you are very creative and have some great ideas where you can create an app and you can sell it and start making money. And that's something I'll talk to you guys about later on once we come to the end of the session. Miss Kumo, Mr. Kila, do you want to probably wrap up? Because I think we can log out, wrap up.
All right. First of all, I want to say you are a very good teacher. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Really
Kila.
went, easy. I don't think it's going to be difficult for them, provided you are explaining every detail. So it was really good. But I still think we should give room for questions.
Yeah. Definitely. Do you guys have any questions, guys? And again, like I said, you know, we are trying to handle everyone, right, guys? So there will be an assessment. Don't worry. There's going to be an assessment. It's going to be an automatic grading assessment on Google Forms where you guys will be asked questions like what I just showed you, how to be able to open this, what do you need to do with this? So it's going to test your knowledge and just help you like go back and revise and understand more of the concepts, because when you understand the concepts, you can develop better. So I'll create that assessment for you guys. It's probably going to be ready by Tuesday, Wednesday. So just give us some time because we're working on that in our school, and Mr. Kumo and Mrs. Kumo and Mr. Kila would also coordinate with you guys. So it's going to help you that way, like to check your knowledge and see if you understood. And it will also give us the grade, and that's how we're going to assess you. We're looking for the best students at the end of this program. The best high-scoring student and most performing student, we will give an award from Nazli Tech School and from Tech Fusion. And we're hoping to help you transition you into the whole digital platform, probably, you know, look for remote jobs online to start developing, or even just start creating your own thing and selling your apps, as I mentioned. So yeah, but do you have any questions, guys? I hope I can answer everyone. I'm not sure how many I can, but in the time we have, do you have any questions? Nope. Sure. Okay. Mr. Keela, Ms. Kumo, I don't think they have, but if they do, they can always contact you and or let me know or send a comment on the classroom because I think it's commented. Go ahead, Mbunwe. Go ahead. You raised your hand. I'm listening. Mbunwe Honorine, can you go ahead? Do you have a question? No. Okay. Yes. Oyuk, go ahead. Oyuk, I can hear you. You can ask the question.
Are you please can you unmute your mic and speak, please?
Thanks, Mrs. Kumo.
Okay, please. I just want to know if there is a specific structure of writing the codes or there are other methods of writing it.
There are other methods, but this would be the easiest structure to get you started into inserting graphics and to do this in a way where it's basically faster for your development time. But this
Okay,
is the
thank you.
Yeah, but this is a structure we're going to go with. And that's a good question for all of you guys. Obviously, when you're coding, there are different styles of how you code. I'm sure some of you know it. From being a software engineer myself, when you work with a team, everyone has a style of coding. Some people go a more easier style. Some people go a lot longer. But this style that I'm showing you guys is a faster, easier one. And at the same time, you get to use two different libraries. As you've noticed, you're using Turtle for the graphics to set it up to be able to make it clickable. And then you're going to use Thinkter, where you're going to that will help us more to like make it look realistic in terms of putting text boxes and buttons and all that stuff. So that's the benefit of the two.
Okay, so the syntax. I would just like to know, are there other methods of writing the syntax or there is just one method of writing syntax?
Good question. Syntax is only one structure, one type. So there isn't any other type of methods of how you can write it. And that's another good question, especially when it comes to indentation, when it comes to using keywords like def, if, lower cases, or while loops, which you guys are going to learn, or other things that you're going to learn in this program as we go on. Those are just the specific ways of how you have to do it. If you do it any other way, you're going to notice that you'll get red lines. If you spell anything wrong, you get red lines, and that means that there's an error, so you have to fix it. So this is the part where you go into the video, you pause, and you check and see what you can fix.
Okay, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
want to say, Alicia.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're using Python here, and we follow the Python syntax. And Python each language has its own way you have to write it. So as Mrs. Alicia explained, we'll follow this Python syntax. You know, in Python, we do indentation. It's very critical because if you do the wrong indentation, you have errors. So we are following the Python. So you can even go back at your spare time. You can go back and do some Python lessons. It can also assist you in easily understanding the lesson. So we are using pure Python, but it's kind of I think Alicia is using something that some of us don't know about it. It's another library, but it's Python. It's still the Python syntax. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kumo. Yes, guys, I will tell you maybe I'll give you some also cool sites that you guys can go. There's a very good site called W3 Schools, and it's very easy, very understandable. You can even try things little by little and understand really well on what you can do and how far you can go. Remember, guys, vibe coding is great, but vibe coding isn't good for someone who wants to become a software developer. Software engineers are in high need. If you understand the system from scratch, you would understand how these AIs are even built, and they need maintenance themselves. So what you can do to be a smart software developer is you build the system the way you want it first, customize and personalize it, and then you use vibe coding to add extra features to it to make it more even accessible and functional and versatile for users that are across different domains. So that's how you should think and how you should work. And hopefully I'll be able to show you guys that towards the end of the session. All right, guys, I need to wrap up. If you have any more questions, I'm going to take the last question. Lemonsa, I hope I pronounced it correctly.
Yes, you do. Thank you very much for the
You're
presentation.
welcome.
Okay, so my question is about the end results. Are we going to come up with a desktop application or it's going to be a web app? Because while following up, I don't yet have an idea about these libraries. So I
That's a
wish to know.
very Yes, sorry to interrupt, Limsa. That's a good question, guys. The end result is going to be a desktop, no, not a desktop, a published web app. So that would work obviously with the URL. So at the end, when we're done, we will just click publish. And when you click publish, what the Replit server does, which they have something called agent for, is that it prepares your app to become versatile and viewable on all desktops, across all desktops and all screens, of all kinds. And all you need is just to be able to give anyone to use your app. You just need to give them the URL and they're able to access it. So in that case, it becomes the web app / desktop on their desktop computers or mobile devices. Like, again, mobile devices will be better when you have a mobile app, which is like a 9 to 16 version. This is a 16 to 9, can also work on mobile devices, but a more sort of constructed 9 to 16. Maybe when you do this one, then you can do the 9 to 16 one, will be better. Because I just want to tell you guys that Replit is in partnership with something called Revenue Cat. It's a big company in the United States, and they're now starting allowing people, like what we're doing right now, when you develop an app, you're able to refine it with vibe coding with their agent a little bit, and then you're able to publish it, which is answering Lemsa's question, to be able to publish it and sell it on the App Store. They have an App Store, just like Google App Store, and you get the money sent back to you. They take a certain amount of profit, but then you get your own sale, money back. So if you want to learn more about Revenue Cat, you can definitely check out Replit on their LinkedIn page. You can also check them out online. Gives you more information of what you can do with this and how you can develop from here and start creating apps, because this is something that many people are looking for. And another exciting thing is, if you know how to create the content to showcase what you've developed, create video content of high quality to show the app that you've developed for people to see what it can do and use it, that's even a plus plus. Unfortunately, I don't think for this course we will be able to do content development. However, if you're interested, you can talk to Mr. Kila and Mrs. Kumo. Maybe we can work something out for you guys for that, because that's going to be an entire different course program, how to create content for your developed apps. Lemsa, does that answer your question? Okay, yeah, okay, he says it. All right, guys, we need to wrap up. So if there's anything, hopefully we can try as much as possible to answer. Again, maybe Mrs. Kumo and Mr. Kila will figure out a way of how to do like a general sort of answer question survey, which I'll try to see how many I can answer. We might be having something exciting for you guys. I'll talk to Mrs. Kumo and Mr. Kila about, and they'll let you know. We might be having a guest speaker coming in to speak to you guys more about when you have these technical skills, you need those soft skills, right? To be able to position yourself to stand out in a professional workspace. There's also something that's actually come up recently that I want to talk to Mrs. Kila. Sorry, Kumo. I'm sorry I'm mixing your Kila and Kumo today with Mr. and Mrs., but I'll talk to you guys about the research. We have something coming up for your students that I think is going to be beneficial to them with this app that they're going to be creating, that I'll let you guys know. So guys, have a great night. I wish you a good night in Cameroon. In Morocco, it's the same time as Cameroon. We're 14 minutes past. And looking forward to seeing you guys in the next class. And don't forget to check out your Google Classroom. Mr. Kila, Ms. Kumo, should we wrap up?
Yes. Thank you very much, Alicia. The lessons were wonderful.
No problem. Take care. See you guys next time. I'll
Yes.
talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys.
Okay. I'll send you a message on WhatsApp. We can talk.
Okay. All right. Kila, do you want to say something? I don't know if you were saying something.
Yes, actually, followed up so well. It's really fluent and good. It's really, really, really nice. And I
Thanks, Kila.
think they all feel the same. So thank you so much. And have
No
a nice day.
problem. Have a nice day. Speak to you again on WhatsApp. Bye, guys. Take care, everybody. See you soon.